Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 5 of Deploy with Garrison. Primed and ready. We're going to get right into this one. How are you, Alan?
I'm fine. We're gonna go with fine.
Fine. How are you?
We're all fine here.
How are you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, we're here. We're on schedule. We're on time.
Yeah, we've done pretty well for Deploy with Garrison. I've been pretty good at trying to get it all edited and get the episodes out early for the Patreons, getting the article to go up live, doing the short polls now as well, so we can have a little bit of pre-episode advertising, get all of the TikToks out there. It's been great.
Yep, great.
Everyone loves giant Kris head, giant Alan head, or giant Will Shick head. It's amazing. I did apologize to Will Shick at UK Games Expo for giant Will Shick head, but the people need to know. So
God, TikTok is a blight upon the world, and everything that came from it.
Okay, so Officer's Mess this week we have. I was at UK Games Expo. I've played a game. I've been pretty busy. I've did some painting as well, but I feel like that's going to come into the main topic, which Alan's going to introduce for us as well. What's the main topic this week, Alan?
Painting, hobbying, how to get into the habit of painting and hobbying, aka getting off my butt to sit in a painting chair and paint these gray armies of mine.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one. I know we've done a similar episode. I think it was a lack of focus episode we did on a similar topic, but it'll be interesting to see if I still hold many of the same opinions or where I kind of sit now, especially given the new environment. So I've been feeling you, but I did it. I've been motivated. I did the thing. So it should be a good one.
Well, it's kind of what prompted me to think about it, is because I saw like some of the stuff that you were working on. I'll let you say what you did on those, but like they look great. And it's just like, man, I need to just put, like, I don't aspire to be that level. But I need to not be a gray army, right?
Shopping out with flight stands and putting them onto a background when you take a picture does a lot of the work for those models. I'm not going to lie.
It certainly helps. I noticed that. It was pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. Hey, you guys should check out his article.
Yeah, it's on the article. It's on the my Instagram feed. I put it on there. So, but yeah, I also I've been struggling for motivation for painting. It's been, again, I don't want to jump too deep into it. It's the main topic. We've got an Officer's Mess to get through first, so let's hit that one. Do you have anything you want to open for the Officer's Mess, or do you want me to jump into my game first?
I had my league game scheduled, and life happened, and my opponent we had to reschedule. So I do not have a game currently.
Okay, well,
next time.
Given it's been. I've been trying to get a game a week. I've only done one game, so I also had life happen. I chose to not push for 2 because I wanted to try and get some painting done, and I was feeling like garbage. I didn't want to drive the 45 minutes hour in rush hour traffic to Stockport to try and get this second game in. So I just have a 1 from a long time ago now. It feels like it was like the day after we recorded. I played another game.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's been in the can for a little while, so I might be a bit hazy on the details. But again, I played against Simon, who's a listener, so thank you for listening. Hope I don't misrepresent the intentions. But he was running a different GAR list this time. We planned to meet up, and he turned up and had a few different ideas for a list, and we sat down for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, just riffing ideas for his 501st. And we'd obviously spoken about commandos being in there now and kind of balancing out what to do, put the commandos in, do the ATRTs for the armor, and generally like where to go, because He's looking for something different to his double sabers. I know that's heresy for you, Alan. It's okay. But sometimes people want to put double sabers away. I know. He does think that you're wrong in your take on double sabers, but he can comment. He'll comment, and then you can have some back and forth on there. It'll be okay. I don't want to speak for you.
He's probably correct. Like arcs are way better an option than just mass heals on the things. No, that saber tank was it was a compromise list that I was trying to do where I was trying not to be like turbo optimizing, but I wanted to play sabers. So I was just leaning all in on sabers. So yes, I believe I would agree with Simon. Yes, Simon, we agree. My list is far less optimal.
Yeah. But this time he was running Anakin, Ahsoka, 4 arcs. He had 1 unit commandos, 1 ATRT, which was his pivot away from double ATRT. And then he had clone squads, and I think that was it. No commander this time around that I remember. Yeah, there was no commander. It was just Anakin and Ahsoka, I believe.
Just Anakin. Okay.
Yeah, because he didn't need the extra direct and stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah, that. No. Maybe he did have the commander. I can't remember. Simon, you're gonna have to post a list. It's been too long, but as we're gonna get to, it was a very skewed game. So. After all of this back and forth, I'd spoken about the missions, and I hadn't had time to adjust my mission deck from when we spoke about it.
Sure.
Luckily, he had some different ones to me, and his was the one that was out, and it was the Intel one with the 4 points that we were back and forth on if that was going to be too similar to recovery research, and that it kind of spreads me out.
Sure. Or if it would. Intercept transmissions?
Yes, intercept transmissions. Yeah. And then the secondary was destroy the enemy base.
Oh, boy.
So I was very happy with this because he plonked his base next to his home objective in friendly territory for him. And I pushed mine out to one flank.
Sure.
So it was kind of skewed already. He was planning on defending that one anyway, and in my opinion, defending that home one isn't that important because you can always just contest it with a scanning holding a unit that's holding a scanner anyway, and then you still score it. You don't have to secure it. So you get nothing for scoring your own. So I generally with the Wookiees, I'll hold it for a turn just to make sure you don't bum rush me. But then I want to kind of push out, and then I put my bunker on my left-hand side, kind of where I wanted to push onto one of his to kind of draw him over into that piece of terrain.
Yep. Yeah, I was looking at your picture, and I could see your layout. Very nice photo, by the way.
I tried.
Lovely painted minis.
It's good. I've been doing well. I'm just trying to have hobby time. It's been great. Only flip painted armies for Kris. It's great. But yeah, so my thinking with that setup is that doing what happened to me in that recovery research game, like giving people too many places to go, and if they want to blow up my base, they have to come through where I'm pushing. So my plan was always to have Yoda and at least 2 of my battle shield units and Chewie all on that flank. The Fluttercraft can kind of support from range, and then as the game evolved, I brought more and more onto that flank and kind of sacked my right flank a little bit. I think the which way around is it? It's a Wookiee noble warriors with bowcaster were out on the right hand flank, and they just took chip shots and kind of blew away one of his empty clone units. They contested the point on the right. Yeah, so they secured the point on the right for a couple of turns to score me points, And then once he started pushing to contest it, I just sent a fluttercraft with one of my scanners over that way. So then I just scored it anyway. On the left-hand side, my plan was to try and secure that one, then push through it towards the center. And because I was coming from my bunker, I would be able to kill anything that he was sending towards the bunker. I put my bomb onto Yoda. He put his bomb onto Ahsoka. Yep. He infiltrated. So he prepared positions Anakin onto that side. He infiltrated the commandos into the center objective that he was holding, his home fielded objective. So we were nice and defensive, but they were kind of. It's very different, right? Because if you only have the one unit, Simon was correcting me because I was like, "Oh, you not get surge to hit." It's like, no, I only get the surge to hit if you're on the commando token. If I'm on it, I get surge to defense. That's why you want two units. I was like, right, yeah, sorry. So he put them out to be more defensive, and I just ignored them for the entire game. Like, yeah, you can take your shots and do your damage, and he killed Wookiees. I took a lot of damage on the squads, but every time one died, I did a pretty good job of rotating them out of line of sight. So once he did, generally he was doing enough to he'd leave one alive and then kill two. So like do 2 wounds and 4, or just straight up do 6 wounds. So it was chipping the squads down quicker than I would have liked. But I would just rotate them into cover out of line of sight so they couldn't focus them, and I still had the activation in the bag. So I was trying to focus everything down onto. For this game, I felt like I played the suboptimal choice of targeting units that have already activated. Because okay, you've exposed that unit. I know where it's going to be. It can't run away now. If I put all of my fire into it until it is dead, you don't have any agency in stopping me.
Sure.
So it meant that he had agency in reacting and kind of controlling the tempo of the game. But I got to whittle down units, and the first one of those units to whittle down was Anakin Skywalker in turn 1. So.
Wow, that's a good start.
I believe it was a command token problem that we spoke about. If you don't have perfect order control, you're still at the mercy of the bag, right?
Yep.
And he just pushed him a little bit too far forwards, and I was like, and I got the 2 and measured. I'm like, I'm now a speed 2 move, and you're in range 3. So my range Wookiees, my Kashyyyk defenders, moved on, and I'd used Luminous Beings away from Yoda, and he'd activated and moved onto the table already as well.
Sure.
So I'd walked to him on his speed 1 move and then aimed.
And now you've got a lot of tokens.
Yeah, lots of tokens ready. I moved on my my Kashyyyk defenders with the bowcaster. So it's a 10 dice pool, right? No, 8 dice. 8 dice pool. And I'd just been talking, I believe we spoke on the podcast about how they've been low rolling for a couple of games.
Oh, sure.
Oh, not a problem anymore, my friend. I think I put 6. I put 6 into Anakin there, and he failed a couple of saves. I was like, it's interesting, spicy. 4 wounds left on Anakin. But yeah, he had 1 dodge token. None of the units that could give him backup were in range. So once they'd moved on and done that, I was like, well, I've got Chewie, who's got a range 3 gun. I've got my 3 fluttercraft.
Yep.
And I looked at the board. I was like, okay, so I can do a speed 3 move compulsory onto a table, which will get me a shot on Anakin. And then I can move away. And as long as it's not my compulsory, I can still change the speed of a template that I'm doing. Right. So I ended up positioning it like it would fly on and clear the space for the next fluttercraft to land in the exact same spot, take the same shot.
Oh, and just keep doing the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had 3 activations in a row, which was my footcraft's going to move on. I'm going to shoot, and I'm going to spend one of Yoda's aim tokens to get 4 hits. But it was like 4 hits, 4 hits, 4 hits, and then there was a dead Anakin. So it was brutal. All of my firepower for turn 1, but it was it was worth it. Anakin went down. My footcraft were in an awful position because I'd put the scanners on them, and they were both my scanners were now like pointing at my table edge. But,
in your deployment zone,
in my deployment zone, pointing at my table edge, just in the completely wrong position to be able to bomb burst and contest these objectives to get me scoring. But I didn't have to deal with an Anakin.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I had to.
The Fluttercraft are speed 2 or speed 3?
Speed 2 normal, but they can go up to speed 2 or down. They can be whatever speed you want to. Effectively, when you activate them, you pick a speed, and that's a speed.
Oh,
for
interesting. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the Battle Force special rule.
Oh, okay, neat. So I mean, yes, the Fluttercraft are out of position, but they're pretty dang fast. I'm sure.
Yeah, but then the guns were pointing at the clones that were running towards me, so I wanted them to stay there and keep shooting. So I got greedy and kind of put the fire into ARC troopers. And it was a pretty close game. It was closer than it should have been. I think I feel like what you're saying is right. I should have just then turn 2. I should have just speed 3, triple move, get them into position. But I think what was bothering me was I couldn't make it to a point that I wasn't already going to score.
Sure.
So I'm like, well, if it's not gaining me anything this turn, I want to shoot then. But then that kept me hemmed in, and I still wasn't going to make it somewhere in turn 3 then, because I'd stayed around in turn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was a pretty close game. He claimed the left-hand objective. Well, okay. But I put one of my footcraft there to contest it, so we both scored that one. I scored right, so it was like 2-1 to me, and it was really like there wasn't a big gap forming. And then
sure.
I'd planned going into turn 3. I'd planned that Yoda was just behind the building, but just at range 1 of Chewie. So that I can size matters sometimes, bounce him onto Chewie, then you get the double move to try and rush Chewie into the bunker to blow that up with Yoda.
Right.
I did it, but he had first activation. And I'd had to put Yoda into charge range of an ARC squad.
Oh, no.
That was still full.
Oh, no.
I mean, luckily, obviously, the unit can only charge Chewie or Yoda. It can't charge both, right?
Right.
I feel like he charged the wrong unit because he charged into Yoda, but Yoda can no longer move. So Chewie is not engaged. Yoda is engaged. He got the obligatory 10 hits because, of course, he did.
Yeah,
charge, tactical, like it's going to happen.
Because arcs.
I passed 6 saves, so I was fine. I had 1 wound left on Yoda. It's look, man, that's fine because I'm surrounded by arcs who've activated, and no one else can charge me.
Yeah.
So I'm now safe. He can't shoot into combat.
You survived. Yeah. Okay.
And remember, Chewie is not engaged because a single unit cannot charge 2 units.
Right. Yeah, they're not treated as 2 units. They're still 2 separate units. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep. Okay.
I sit there and do nothing with those 2 units while I'm completely safe with Yoda now. Do the rest of the army. The game goes on. We trade blows. Wookiees are dying. And then as soon as everything on that left flank is activated, I activate Chewie, move. Then I activate Yoda, the following activation, to do a guidance, and then force wave onto the last 2 the last two clone troopers who were contesting the bunker, which then lets Yoda claim secure the bunker, and he just blows it up at the end of turn 3. That 4-point swing kind of pushed it past the point of him being able to come back, because I'd walked down Ahsoka with there were only 2 Wookiees left in the squad, but then I had my my range, my Kashyyyk defenders were still at full strength, guarding the bunker, and there's no way Ahsoka can kill all of them in 2 turns to be able to then blow it up, and I could swing a photograph back around. So it was he was never going to blow up mine. I'd blown up his, and that was kind of a turning point. But yeah, fail one more save with Yoda, and he dies.
Yeah.
I do think that the correct choice for him would have been to engage Chewie. Put all of those hits into Chewie. Down. Yeah, because then if you kill Chewie, Yoda cannot move this turn.
Right.
And if you don't, then I've got to withdraw, and then it kind of ruins Yoda's plays, right? He can only guidance Chewie once, so I don't get as far across.
Yep.
So, but I don't know. I don't know what the right choice was. I don't feel like it was outside of the averages for Yoda to be alive at the end of that charge, though.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. He has surge to block, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if following the averages, he should be able to take a 12 dice hit and survive on 1 on average. But,
yeah,
so 10, I mean, 10 and surviving tight. On 1 feels gut math says that feels right.
Yeah, but surviving on 1, you're always a little bit twitchy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, and I'm not sure if the game felt close because the secondary was the one it was. Like, that's an all or nothing secondary, right? You either score that giant 4
points, or you don't.
And so I don't know if that was what made the game feel tighter, because I was always confident that I was going to get Yoda there, because I hadn't played Size Matters Not. So I had the tools to get Yoda across.
Right.
But yeah, it felt really close and really tight, and those arcs just pump out a lot of damage. Like,
they sure do. They sure do.
Like I said, every time it wasn't a Wookiee dying, it was 2. And I'm like, oh, this unit's not as effective. Like, charging 2 Wookiees into Ahsoka doesn't feel as good as charging 4 in.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I won. It was a skewed game because Anakin went down turn 1, right?
Sure.
So, it's always going to feel like the defining moment of the game. And I don't know if I would trade a little bit of damage on Anakin and him just being wounded to have my photocraft in an advantageous position for the rest of the game. I genuinely don't know what the right choice is, playing it out, kind of trying to, do the fake math game of where the game would have gone in those instances. Because I still have Yoda and Chewie, who should be able to deal with Anakin depending on what command cards are played and where the rest of the damage is. I can still put damage down onto him.
Right.
So I probably didn't need to commit as hard, but, like a shark in the water, I smelled blood, got to take him out. He was the chosen one. I chose him to hold all his ballcaster bolts.
You got you fell into my trap that I usually run into of getting punchy, and it's like, I will kill this thing, and then 3 ATSTs don't manage to kill the thing, and then I'm in real trouble.
Oh, that's the key. You just have to kill the thing you set out to kill. So genuinely, I did sit down. Before I did it, I worked out if Anakin should live or die.
Sure.
And after I did 2 wounds with all of those white dice, Anakin should then die.
Right.
Like 4 dice, he should fail 1. 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 That's all of his wounds.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm not being facetious about it, but
yeah.
On average, Anakin should die more often than he lives in that instance.
Right.
And yeah. No, it was fine. It was fine. I have to keep reminding myself that Padawan Ahsoka is not Fulcrum.
Yes.
I gave her far more respect than she deserved in that game as well, which may also have kind of tinged the result a little bit. I kept it closer because I was like, oh, I've got to keep this unit back in case Ahsoka gets into the bunker because I cannot have her scoring the bunker. And then it's like, oh yeah, this turn she got a free move, but she's now speed 1. Well, you know what I mean? All of this stuff, she just doesn't do the Fulcrum Ahsoka things. So sure. I kind of need to get that in my head and not. You've got to respect her. She still does Ahsoka things. She's just not. She's not Fulcrum yet. It's fine.
Right.
Oh,
still a solid piece.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my game. And then we had UK Games Expo. Oh yeah, it was a thing. There is an interview with Shick. That's on the YouTube channel already.
Yep.
Hopefully people watched it. It was a very different comment. It was more laid back, I think. We just kind of hung out and chatted for a little while. I said I was trying to keep it to half an hour. I think I got it pretty tight on the half hour talk. I think
it's just
chatted
over,
with him all day,
but it's pretty close.
Yeah, this was a lot less formal and structured than the Adepticon one. We had more time if I needed it, but I was like, I don't know if this may sound arrogant or, whatever, but I want it to feel, because we've done the Adepticon chat, we had them on the podcast, and this was like round 3. I needed it to be different enough, and it's not like a bunch of new news had dropped. So hopefully it feels like a different thing. It was interesting. I enjoyed all of the talk about the design philosophy and the faction identity was really interesting. And
that's what I pulled watching it afterwards was the aim for faction identity and then balance between the factions and like what their ideals are and stuff like that. Like it resonated with me, and I hope that given enough time they can get closer to that.
Yeah. And I do think that the stuff we were saying does track, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Wookiee battle force does feel different to playing GAR. It does feel like a Wookiee battle force. It does what it wants to do. And whilst it might not all land entirely throughout the meta, like we saw Remnant feeling different to normal Imperials, right? They worked in a very different way. Blizzard Force had its very unique, distinct play style, echo-based defend, all of that stuff. And then obviously talking about Bright Tree as like, does it fall into Rebels? Does it fall into Mercenaries? Where it kind of sits and its feel is very different. And that was like a really cool part of the conversation talking about the Chewie and the ATST and how it's a very unique unit, like where that kind of thing of just, I'm going to take an ATST in my rebel army. Like, well, it's not a rebel army, it's an Ewok army, and that kind of thing. So that felt pretty cool. But yeah, like UK Games Expo outside of the AMG chat was really cool. I spoke to a lot of Allegiant players. Just walking up and down, one person recognized me, which was very strange. So thank you. I was like, you've got a podcast. I was like, shh, it's you. You have a listener.
Our one listener.
Yeah. But it was really good. Watching the games play out. I deliberately didn't hyper focus too much on the competitive end, because I was pretty sure that the other podcasts are going to pick up the slack. It's not really our shtick unless we have a guest on. We kind of don't really do that high level meta analysis for good or ill. It's just not the way we kind of approach it.
It trickles down in some of our list choices, just because we could see what is doing well. We can take that and apply it to our more kitchen and local friendly kind of setup. It's like, okay, so these are doing well and this is why. So you need to either prepare for it or take it. But yeah, it's not like hyper optimization like those guys
I have one. I have one for you that you may find interesting. I saw multiple people running double-sized snow troopers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wonder what's going on there.
Ion gun. Just get those ions onto the Aquas, right? Onto the Separatists, try and shut them down.
Sure. But I wonder what the choice is to do double size. Is it just to keep the ion up longer?
Well, I think it's a dice pool, right? That's the thing we kind of forget about when you're playing against a bunch of that. Not the heavy armor from something like the Armor 5 ATST, but those Armor 2s, Armor 3s. Having those extra 6 dice in the pool.
Oh.
5 dice in the pool.
Yeah. It's doing the saturation thing that we had, because Armor 2 is effectively like old heavy cover, right? So we just have to overwhelm your cover and then punch through. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
But it kind of guarantees that ion to land, right? And that's once you get those ion tokens to stick, it kind of has that effect, and they get to sway the way the game's going. And ultimately, it is an objective-focused game. So if you're shutting down that movement and those activations, it seems pretty interesting.
Sure. I've certainly been looking at the ion snows more as well. There's a couple other comments about like, okay, what is Empire doing? What do we need to do to work with Empire, get Empire relevant again? It's like, hey, these ion snows are a lot better now. We should probably be taking those instead of flame snows or other things like that. It's like, okay. All right. They don't exhaust anymore. They have critical and impact and ion. It's like,
the problem with not taking flamethrowers is that you run into clone trooper squads that are massive, and there's only 3 of them.
Yeah.
That's when you want those flamethrowers, right?
Sure.
Any thoughts on 6 activations?
I haven't. I've heard about it. I haven't looked at it enough to have an opinion. It's one of those things, not quite paying attention to that high level stuff, but I've heard the rumblings. I haven't looked at it myself yet.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you about, just in reference to this, before we kind of move on to main topic.
Sure.
No matter how many passes you have, you can't pass twice in a row, right?
Correct. So you can't spend a token to pass. There are some ways to get around that.
Yeah, you could draw if you drew a bag and didn't have a unit. You can, which you're not going to do in the early parts of a game with 6 activations.
No.
That's what I'm.
Nope.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. You can only pass. You can only spend a token to pass. If you didn't pass the previous turn.
Yeah. So I feel like I must be being naive, because I understand. Like, in my head, I know how I would play it. But I also feel like I know how I would play against it.
Sure.
And I must be missing something on the playing against it side. Like, I know it's gonna delete my units, right? Every time one of those squads gets to shoot, I'm probably gonna lose a small unit.
Right.
But as long as I'm chipping away and getting them down, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to kind of do more research. But
it it's an interesting to see that it's doing well, but I haven't taken a much closer look at it to have an opinion.
I feel like it's reminiscent of that old Palp list that you tried to run. Palp in the Gav.
Oh, sure. Palp Vader Gav with Snows. Yeah. That was interesting too. That one took a lot of reps to get good at. Like the guy who made that, Dave Grant, like he worked at it for a while to get good at that. And he knows all the little tricks. Like you have to know all of the little tricks to be able to make that work. And of course, that was
how I feel like
it
must work. You know, that there's more about the player than the list is what I'm kind of angling towards. I feel like that's one of those lists that people will emulate, and
then do poorly with.
Work. Yeah. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to track how that goes.
Yep.
And let's go and talk about the Patreon bit for a transition. I do need to do the post on Patreon about the giveaway for the magnetic storage box that I made. Because I know I mentioned it on the video for the magnetic storage box, but I didn't do a Patreon post yet.
Sure.
So anyone who's a Patreon in June is going to get a chance to win the one of these magnetic storage boxes that I made already. So that was 5 of you at the moment. So pretty good odds. It could be you, Alan. I'm not going to discount it because it would be cheaper for you to just buy one than me to ship it to you. But it's fine.
Well, maybe we do that. You could give it to someone else.
But yeah, if you wanted to support the show on Patreon, that would be really great. If not, just keep watching, share it around. I'm also giving away one where if you comment on the YouTube video of my instructional video of how to make these magnetic boxes, I'll put a link in the show notes for this episode. But once we hit 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, which we're only 500 and something away, we're pretty close. If we keep ticking over, we'll get there. And I know that 78% of the people who watch this video aren't subscribers. So if you like the video, it's great. We get lots of likes, comments. You guys tell us how wrong we are all the time, and that's great too. But subscribe. Hit the bell so you can get the video soon and then know. And then once we get to 2,000, there'll be a giveaway. And even if you don't want the box, get us there because then I can move on to another giveaway, which might be one that you actually want. Because I did pick up a signed Ahsoka versus Vader for Shatterpoint. Who signed it for me? I had to pay.
There you go.
I paid £100 for this prize out of my own money. None of this free stuff over here yet, I've got to do all of my own purchasing. So get us to 2,000 and I can give that away with some Shatterpoint content. It'll be great. Don't worry about it.
I'm not worried about
reaching people who love painting. It's good.
Yeah, there you go.
And the box is signed. Yeah. It's just on my shelf, ready to be given away. But I've already got to give away another one. Can't do multiple at the same time. That's crazy talk. Yeah, so that's kind of it. I'm primed and ready to get onto that main topic now, Alan. So what do we have?
Primed. Yes, primed. I see. Well, that's funny you should say that. And talking about Ion Snows. Ion Snows are popular, and I've never finished painting them. They are primed, and they're half glued together, so I could, pull them apart. And
primed and almost ready?
Almost ready. Yeah, they... I only glued, the legs are on the base, and then I didn't glue the torso to the legs. That way I could paint the legs underneath their cape skirt thing.
Yep.
Without having to get a brush under
tabards.
there. Yeah, those. So, it's one of those things I need to do. And, now I've assembled a second dewback because I bought 3. So I bought one, and then it's like, oh, I'm not playing them. And then they were getting really good. So I bought 2 more so I could do Vader triple dewbacks, and then it wasn't the flavor of the week anymore, and then I kind of forgot about it, but I still had them. So now I'm trying Vader dewbacks for the league. So I needed to put a second one together. And holy cow, going back in the Wayback Machine on these older models and looking at where the models and minis are now, it's a difference. It's a very stark difference how far the quality of the miniatures have come.
Do you remember me telling you that I would pay more money to not have to use a soft plastic miniature?
I sure do. And now it's like, oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Did you have one of the ones where you had to kind of saw into the big lug that fits into the torso to make it fit? Because just when it's been removed from a mold, the heat of a mold has slightly warped it, so it doesn't fit anymore.
I didn't have any problems. No, I didn't have any of those problems. Not with these ones. They all fit pretty well, but like there were some of the mold flashing, like where the nozzle squirts it in, that little like nubbin.
Yeah,
those were pretty rough. I had to trim away at those to get them to fit nicely and things like that. But yeah,
the worst one for me on the dewback. Sorry to hijack a little bit.
No,
is talking about that warping when they come out, because they're big chunky models. The normal hair dryer or boiling water doesn't work to kind of twist it. So even if you get them slightly warmed up so you can, there's always that internal pressure where it starts twisting back. So you end up with them popping 1 foot off the base. So I always end up having to kind of, okay, it's together. That's fine. I'm going to sit the 3 of the 4 legs onto the ground, and then I'm just going to build up the area underneath that 4th leg. So the contact points are all there because it won't sit flat. And it's such fun times.
Can't say I've had any issues that drastic with any of my models, but yeah, it's one of the things that brought to mind, especially looking at you were working on your project, which is these swoop bikes, and they look great.
Thank you.
And I'm just sitting here with all of my army of gray or primed, at least. So like a lot of my clones are primed like a green, like an army green, because I didn't want to pay another white army. And when I get my new stormtroopers, they're probably also going to be green, my little green army men. I mean, I could totally lean into the bit, and it's just like they're just the green molded plastics, but like that doesn't really fly for events like Adepticon. You still have to have your 3-color minimum.
You can get away with a lot for basing.
Sure.
If you do really fancy basing, you could get away with green army men where you've got them green, washed, dry brushed, and then go all out on the bases, and I guarantee you get away with that for Adepticon.
Sure. I mean, even just like base coat, washed, and then dry brushed, like that's 3 colors.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you know, that I don't know. It's a personal issue with me that like painting has always been a chore, and it's a pain in the butt. And so like I'm hoping you, as the more experienced person that has gone through cycles of, oh my gosh, I have to paint, to, oh man, I love painting. Like, what are some tips that you can give me, and then maybe someone else will find it useful that like.
So do you want to know a dirty little secret that isn't going to help you at all? It's going to be extremely disappointing for you. It's always a chore.
Okay.
I mean, it's like so let's pivot this, right? Let's build you up for a minute and put me down, right? We were chatting before we recorded. You're 50 pounds down now?
Yeah. I've been on a weight loss journey.
Yeah. I'm catching all of the weight that you're dropping. It's okay.
It's not how that's supposed to work, Kris.
It's always got to be about me, Alan. I can never just give you your flowers. I have to make it about me. the ego and narcissist, it's all fine. But like, there's times where whatever you choose. I used to go on a cross trainer a lot, and I'd do like 3 hours at a time, and like really long, low intensity, just listen to a long podcast or an audio book, and it was fine. I could do that. I was in the Air Force. I was living on base. I had nothing else to do. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started boxing. That was really enjoyable. But like, exercising is never fun for me.
Sure.
I never I could murder going for a 5-mile run. Like, it's always something I feel like I should do or have to do.
Right.
And like, do you enjoy what it is? You're doing a lot of walking and stuff, right? And like, just not eating crap at the moment.
It's mostly just not eating as much. Like sometimes I still eat crap, but that just means I have less calories that I can spend to feel full. So I have to be more choosy with what I eat. But yeah, so I'm just eating less and making sure I exercise like a minimum amount every day. It's not crazy. It's just a math equation. I'm burning more calories than I'm consuming.
This is now filled with water, and I could drink water whenever I'm hungry to make sure I'm actually hungry, not just thirsty, like you're supposed to do. But you know what I could also do? I could open that bag of chips.
Yep.
And just then I'll have a drink after in case I would, because I'll definitely be thirsty after eating those. But yeah, it's always a chore. Even when I'm enjoying painting, like when I was still in Canada and I had my dedicated painting space, I'd set up a streaming area because I was enjoying. I was motivated to do it, and then the streaming didn't help; it made it harder because I'm then trying to split my focus across two things. And I did it.
Sure.
It was a long time where I was pretty consistent on the painting streams, and I feel like I put out some good content and had some good viewership, and it was fulfilling to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's never not a chore. It's never something that just jumps out as this is the thing the one thing I could want to do in the world is this right now. It's always spending time with my wife, spending time with my children, playing a game.
Yeah. Do I spend 3 hours painting or do I spend 3 hours playing Legion? I would much rather play Legion than paint Legion.
Yeah. So now we've got it out of the way. What happened that you carried on losing weight?
Got in the habit, I guess.
Is the real habit answer. Forming and discipline, right?
Yeah.
Habit forming and discipline. So the most productive I've ever been, I don't think I have pictures of this army, unfortunately. But I was still in the Air Force. I was based away from home. I was living back in the single accommodation. And I was going to a Throne of Skulls for Warhammer 8th edition. The previous year, I was Best Orc and Goblin General. I was the only person to beat the overall winner of the event on the table. And I was like, okay, cool. The next step up from this is winning the whole event, right? I've done Best in Faction. My next step up is to win the event. And the way it worked was you got points for outperforming the average performance of the faction you were playing.
Okay.
So whoever is the biggest outlier for the event wins the event.
Gotcha. Interesting.
So if you take the best army, it's extremely difficult for you to win the event because if everyone who plays, so putting a Legion spin on it, if everyone plays 5-0 and they all go 5-0, none of those players can win the event because
there's not enough of a delta.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I was like, okay, what army? I chose Wood Elves. And then I spent a lot of time kind of, what do people expect them to do? What can they normally do? So I did a bunch of research and kind of found the units I wanted to run. I ordered fancy bases from Australia to do fancy basing on them all. Mm-hmm. And then I started, and I had about 3 months to get them done.
Sure.
But I want it, again, as a painting side of it. It's a prestigious event at Games Workshop's head office in Nottingham. It's at Warhammer World. So I wanted them to look good. And I was like, okay, well, when I get home from work tonight, I'm going to paint. So I get home from work, you'd go to a mess, you'd eat, and then I'd open my Jack Daniels and play Fable. So something had to change. And I realized that if I got up at 5:30 and painted for an hour, then it's done. And if I get up at 5:30 to paint and then don't paint, that's just really stupid.
Sure.
Like, you're not going to get up to do the thing and then not do the thing. That's just idiotic, right?
Right.
So that's what I did. I got up at 5:30 Monday to Friday and spent between half an hour and an hour just putting paint on models. Right. Sometimes I'd get base coats done on 2 models. Sometimes I'd fly through 10. Like, it didn't matter. As long as I put that time investment in, I was making progress. And I ground out the army and it was finished. I was really happy with results. It looked nice. And I had loads of time left. We used to joke about it's not a tournament if you're not basing your models at 4 a.m. the night before the event. That's like the old Warhammer kind of jokes. I'm sure it's applicable across systems. But yeah, when it was full painting requirements, people, when I traveled for events back in the noughties, that was normal. You'd be up at 2 a.m. in a room just basing models for people because they weren't ready yet.
Sure.
And it was me. I was done. I had my army finished. It was a bespoke army I'd done just for that event because I'd had that discipline. I'd formed that habit of I get up, I paint, and then the rest of the day is mine. And if it's something that you have that deadline for, that's the best way of doing it, is like forming that habit. It doesn't have to be up at 5 a.m. You don't have to, it can be, I'm going to have my little painting set up there. And all I'm doing this week, so let's say you want to do your snowtroopers, right?
Sure.
You get the paint that is the color for the black for the lenses and the trim and the guns. Mm-hmm. So you've got your paintbrush, that black, your water pot, your palette, whatever else you need is just there on the side. It's not all of your paints. It doesn't take up all of the space in the world. And then waiting for kettle to boil, waiting for your coffee to brew. You can put paint on a gun.
Sure.
You can do that stood up if it's just slapping some black paint on a rifle, on some E11 rifles, right?
Yeah.
And it's just making that form that habit however you can. And it was easier when I lived in the block, so I had a desk. I didn't have a wife in the block with me. She was at home in her apartment. I was 3-hour drive away. Right, mm-hmm. So that desk was taken up by PC and painting station.
Sure.
Now it's a lot harder. I have to set up to paint on the kitchen table, and those bikers, I've said a few times in different places how much of a slog it was to get those swoop bikes done. And don't get me wrong, I'm really happy with the result. I think they look good. They fit the theme of the army. I managed to kind of tie in the basing to the models I painted previously, which was a challenge because I didn't remember how I painted those bases at all. So I had to kind of recreate that colour. But I occupied that kitchen table for 4 days. Like we ate on the sofa because I knew if I put the stuff away, it wasn't coming back out, and they weren't going to get finished.
The momentum's just gone.
Yeah. And Jill supported that choice, Ayla was a lot better than Evie used to be when she was her age. She'd come in, what you doing? Painting. What you painting? Star Wars. What is it, blue? Yeah, this is blue. This is green. Yeah, this is green. But she didn't want to sit and paint with me. Evie used to want to kind of get a brush and do stuff. Ayla just comes to check on you and then goes back to do her own thing.
Yep.
So it's been interesting. The swoop bikes for me was a proof of concept that I can sit and paint something. I just need to now be more organized about it and kind of break it up into workflows.
Mm-hmm.
So if I've got gone are the days where I could sit and grind out a unit of 10, a full box of packs. That's the thing I've got to do next is some more packs.
Sure.
I can't just sit and do those in one sitting because I don't have the time, space, or inclination anymore.
Right. Okay.
So then it becomes, okay, am I going to do them one model at a time? I can probably paint a single pike in 2 hours. But is that the most efficient way of doing it? And does that even matter? If the goal is to break it into chunks that I'll actually do, maybe painting one pike at a time is the correct way of doing it because it gets them done. My suspicion is that it'll be like a 4 and a 3. I'll probably do the normal bodies, and then I'll do the leader, the capo,
and the 2 heavies,
and the disruptor.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got 3 capos to do. I'll probably do all of those at the same time. And then for the swoop bikes, I did all of the bikes in one block. Then I did the riders as individuals once they were glued onto the bikes. I started off, I would do 2 of them. I'd match up the colors. So if I'm doing grey pants and this one's got a grey scarf, all the grey gets done at the same time. Then I broke it up and just went to individual models.
Okay. So semi-assembly line?
Yeah, you've just got to find what works for your current situation, right? There's no right or wrong way to paint. There is just painting.
Sure. Okay.
And I think getting away from the binary state of them being finished or unfinished being the progress that matters. This comes down to the guys over at Games Workshop Dundee instilled this, and it was a very easy system to game, and deliberately so, but it wasn't a painting requirement to play on the tables. And so Dundee wasn't a huge store. At its peak, it probably had 4 gaming tables, 4x4s, and there'd be 20 people trying to play on them. So busy enough, but you wouldn't do fully painted armies only, because then you kind of kill that momentum of that group and those people trying to play. But every week,
gets rid of any new people, right? It'd be a gate for them.
Yeah. But it was every week you had to show progress from where you were the week before. So some people would show progress by, I've got a unit of 20 skeletons, and one of them is undercoated. The next week, a second one has been sprayed black. A third one has been sprayed black. And you can spend all year undercoating your 52 skeletons. And that was valid.
Still progress. Sure.
Yeah, you are fulfilling the criteria that was set out. No one judged you for it. If that's the way you want to play, you're meeting the rules. But there was that pride of, what have you done this week? and it's like, oh, this unit's done, or I did a character this week, and that breaking stuff up, it's weird with Legion because the nature of the game is very different.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm trying to think of an example of so I'm soft planning. I want to get these Shadow Collective finished.
Sure.
So the swoop bikes have been hovering over me for the longest time because I don't really like painting bikes or vehicles. So the swoop bikes and the bus are the things I'm least excited to paint. I'm really looking forward to painting Maul at some point, but I won't let myself paint Maul now because then I've got nothing to drive me towards painting Maul.
Nothing to look forward to.
Yeah, right, so the Black Suns, Maul, Broadcast, I've got a second GAR Saxon sculpt, I've got Cad Bane. Those are 5 different things I'm really excited to paint. I really did not enjoy painting the pikes. Just the layout of a model, something just didn't jive with me. And it was the first models I painted to test the 2 thin coats paints when they first came out. So maybe now I'm a bit more comfortable with that paint range. I'll approach them differently and it'll be easy. You know what I mean? That might change. I'm not overly stressed about it.
You're not doing a secondary project on top of painting them.
Yeah. So the pikes I'm not massively excited about. The bus has been I've kind of pre-weathered it. I've sprayed it. I glued the cockpit down, sprayed that black. I've sprayed it all kind of in a soft grey tone and done some pre-weathering on it. So all it really needs is some washes to dirty it up, pick out some details, and the bus is effectively done. I've got to paint both guns separately and do the basing, but the majority of that work is done. But I don't enjoy painting tanks. I don't like painting big, like ATST's nightmare. Never going to want to do a Tempest Force list.
I mean, it wasn't fun, but it was like I messed up the prime or the wash, and I still have not gone back and fixed it because it's like it's done enough.
Yeah,
and it's, I mean, part of it is when I was doing more of the tournament stuff, you know, I could use the tournament as an excuse to motivate me. But then I'm at the stage of life where I just either don't have time or don't want to spend time painting because, you know, my son's getting older and we can do more stuff together. And there's other projects, things and other stuff. And being single dad limits time a little bit more, but also, you know, sometimes it's just like, yeah, go play on your tablet. I'll go do something else. And then I'm just like dead for whatever. So maybe it's a bad season, but going back to,
I mean,
using a tournament.
That'll come and go though, mate. Like,
sure.
You'll get times where there'll be that new thing, right? Like, we don't need to kind of disguise it. It's pretty easy to say, but like, SWU was a nice distraction from Legion for a little while. Like, we were waiting for the full rules to drop. We didn't have the full game. Like, it's easy to like crack packs, open cards, build decks. You know, sit on the tablet or on the phone on one of the deck building websites doing all of that.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I mean, I've sold all my SWU now. I don't own any. So
I've gotten very close. I've gotten very close a couple of times where it's just like, I still like going and playing on Tuesday just because I can get a couple more games of SWU in. And it's still fun, but I'm definitely not chasing it like I was when it launched.
Yeah. But
right.
like,
so
that comes back to, you know, that 15, 20, 30 minutes that you spend kind of, okay, this is a deck style I want to do, so I'm just going to look up some deck lists. I'll read these. Okay, now I'm going to put my take on it. Now I need to pull those cards, put in a box.
Yeah.
I haven't done that. That block of time is time that you could use to paint.
Sure. Yeah, I haven't had time to do that either. I've got the same deck boxes I've had in there for months. Well, you know, like
when SWU was the focus for you.
Oh,
that's
sure.
what you would have done instead of painting.
Right. I see what you're saying.
you're choosing what you fill your time with. It can be doom scrolling as well, It's always a hobby for everybody.
Again, TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts, blight on the world.
I mean, I disagree. I feel like more people should watch Dice Hate YouTube Shorts. It's fine. You want some giant Allen head? This is how you get giant Allen head. You know what the short's going to be? The promo short for today, Alan. Giant Allen head is the short for this week.
Oops, I need to put
timestamp. Yep. This is going to be a short. Gosh. This is going to be the teaser for this episode.
Oh man.
But that's one way of spending time, right? And I'm hesitant to say that it's wasting time because it's up to people how they spend it and what value they get out of that. Nothing you choose to do is a waste of time. I'm not here to judge anyone. But if you do want to make progress, it's analyzing where you can get those little wins. Right. My next job is I've just got another batch of the useful boxes and put more ferrous sheets in them. So I now have space to put the next army that I want to work on in. So I need to go through and double check exactly what GAR I've got. Because I ordered Ahsoka, Bad Batch, and 2 units of commandos. Because I sold my commandos because they were still in box before I moved. So I need to buy more.
Sure. Yep.
They've not arrived yet. They should dispatch on the 12th, apparently. Which I'm going to be really annoyed if they don't. If Ahsoka doesn't dispatch on the 12th, because she's back to being sold out on the website. And I know that people walked in to the store and bought them on Wednesday, but I didn't go because I was trying to paint and I'd already pre-ordered one. So I'm going to be really mad at Element Games and wave my fist and nothing will come of it. But theoretically, that should all dispatch on the 12th. So before that happens, I want to have all of the stuff that I've already built magnetized out in the army case, so I can kind of have this 501st list and a little bit of variation.
Sure.
And I don't know why I ordered the Bad Batch, because I could have saved money and not ordered the Bad Batch because they don't go in 501st. That's part of a Rebel list that I was going to work on, but I'm allowed to be more on too. But
we all have our moments.
Yeah, I'm basically. I've got 2 boxes of ARFs that I got from Adepticon. So I need to do an unboxing video for one of those. So my version of your painting is recording these unboxing videos. I've got to do these so that I can kind of open it. And then I'm like, do I need 2? The current list I'm working on, I only have 1 unit of ARFs in there. So I could do a giveaway for one of these boxes of ARFs. Who knows?
You sure could.
But not until we're at 2,000 subscribers, though. Because it needs to be the next milestone after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's hard getting those little pieces in place, right? So I need to do the magnets on the stuff I already have, so then I can look at what I have, so I can fill in the blanks of, I need to get that starter box when it comes out, because that'll give me these things. I won't buy any of those yet. And just breaking it down into which categories of priorities. This is something that I need to do because I'm going to an event. It's really easy to focus on that. It's that procrastination thing, right? If I leave something for long enough, it becomes an emergency, and then it's really easy to concentrate on.
Yeah, because it needs to be done yesterday. And so here we are. Yeah, most of the time painting is, like I said, has been a chore, but there have been like 2 or 3 times where I've actually enjoyed it. I don't know if I got into like a flow state or whatever, but everything was making sense. It was working, and I, just made a ton of progress. And I don't know how I got there. If I could figure out how to get there more often, then like it would be less of a big deal because I could just do it. But like it's the getting started. I don't.
So one of the things for me that I never enjoy blocking in the colors. I find it very dull and boring. I really enjoy the highlights and the kind of making a model look finished. I find very rewarding. Less so when I'm having to guess where my brush is now because I can't see anymore, apparently.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm painting on instinct. I'm pretty sure if I put a line across here, that should be where its eye is. It'll be all right. And then you take a picture. It's like, oh yeah, I was pretty close. So it's okay. I'll do a trip. But for that flow state thing, it's getting to a point. This is obviously opinion based now, and this is how I would go about trying to replicate that. It's getting to a point where you're not trying to figure out how to do something. You're comfortable with it. You're comfortable with the paint that you're using. You're comfortable with the brush that the tools you're used to. They're comfortable in your hand. Your environment is set, and it is just doing the thing now. There's nothing else in your mind of like, did I water this paint down enough? Is it going to need 2 layers or 3? Do I need to highlight this color with that shade? Like, no, I do this color. Then in 2 minutes, I'll be able to go back over it with this color. A minute after that, I can do a highlight here. While I'm waiting for that bit to dry, I can wash these parts of a model. And you've got that muscle memory of this is how. You joke about stormtroopers, right, painting white army or whatever. Like, it's very frustrating, but it's also very systematic. Yeah. So that's one way, like, okay, depending on what approach you use, like, I'm probably going to go back to doing a black undercoat for stormtroopers because I hate myself. But I find that a similar kind of thing, right? I know exactly how to paint white from a black undercoat. Every time I try a different way, it's an experiment. So I can get good results from doing a white undercoat, contrast painting it down, dragging it down with washes and shades, and then re-highlighting. I know the theory behind it, and I can do it, but I also know that I can blast a dry brush over it in a grey, highlight that, do a sort of wash, re-highlight over the wash to kind of tidy up any of the dry brushing messiness, and then do an edge highlight, and my white will look fine.
Right.
It's 5 or 6 stages, which is stupidly long for the result I'm trying to get, but it's a natural, like it's already in there. Yeah, it's comfortable. It fits like an old glove.
Yeah, it's been so long since I painted something. I'm gonna have to start over. Like, I don't remember how it feels or does anything like that. I swear it's probably been over a year since I painted anything.
So I have some good news for you to kind of round out. I'm going to be massively over. Even I'm not going to be able to edit all of this back down. even if I removed every cough, it wouldn't be under an hour.
Sorry, guys. Not sorry.
It's fine. I think there's been enough in here that it's not always self-indulgent. But this is the best time to have that experience because, as I was saying about my Shadow Collective, right? Trying to color match those bases has been a nightmare. Because I know that I painted my original Shadow Collective, I painted with 2 thin coats, wave 1. The bases, I have a memory of doing in Games Workshop paints. But I've done the same colored, I call them a flesh-colored base, because my friend showed me it when I was doing a Goblin Army, which was what I won the Throne of Skulls with. Like all those years ago, I followed the same technique for like 90% of my basing. I just do this thing, and all I vary is the tufts of a static grass or whatever I'm putting on top of it to vary it from a sci-fi look to a quagmire. Like, these little things change. But for these bases, it's a richer color, and then there's like an orangey yellow to it. And I don't believe that I think the ingredient I'm missing, I think, is Lamenter's yellow glaze, which doesn't exist anymore. And I didn't bring it back to UK when I got rid of all of my Games Workshop paint. When I packed up my boxes, I don't believe I packed my Lamenter's yellow. and I probably gave it away because I'm a moron. So if that was a color I'm missing, I will never be able to recreate those bases. But I've got them close in. I will see it every time I look at them, but I don't think anyone else would notice.
Right. Yeah, I've got my basing recipe down, but past that,
Well, that's it. Right? If you start now, you don't need to have those recipes down because it's all new Legion, and you're going. You don't have to. People don't have to do this, but you're going to replace little bits and pieces. Like your Tempest Force is done, right?
For the most part, I've had to borrow a couple of scouts. So when the new scouts come out, I will have enough scouts that I don't have to borrow anymore.
Yeah.
But eventually I'm going to replace all of the scouts with new scouts.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, because you're going to replace them, it doesn't matter what your old thing was because you can do something new. And then they'll all be the same. And I think I said this to Shick when we did that interview, right? I spoke about how I would build a 1,200 point list to choose from. That's what I'm doing for that 501st list, right? I'm going to have 2 maxed out units of clone infantry, which can break down into 4 units of normal size clone infantry.
Sure.
I'm going to have Anakin Ahsoka Rex. I'm going to have enough arcs that I can do 4 units, or it'll be 3 and some teams. I'll have a couple of units of ARFs. I'll have my 2 ATRTs and my 2 units of commandos. And that's my 501st box.
Done. Right.
Then if I do an army around Obi-Wan, that'll be a 2. I won't take those clone infantry and put them in my 212th list. I'll get different clone infantry for that army.
Dude, that seems like a lot of extra work. Like, I've got these units. I don't need to paint more than the 6 or max.
And that's what I'm saying. No, you don't have to.
Sure.
But that's when it becomes a reward unto itself, right? Because I want the units to be the 212.
Gotcha.
So the blue on, and again, it only works in this example because I'm talking about Battle Force. So my 501st is going to have the blue trims, and it's going to like Jesse will look like Jesse, 5s will look like 5s, Echo will look like Echo, blah blah blah. When I get to Wax and Boil, I can't put those guys in the orange trim in a unit with the blue trim because that's not right.
Interesting.
And
that seems like extra effort for me.
But for me, it isn't effort. It's extra money is ultimately what it is. I have time. Like, you could be like, you know what, Kris, I don't want to do a podcast today. I want to paint. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sounds fair. Inevitably, there will be time. Like, when someone flakes out on your Battletech League game, paint. When your Recon League game falls through, paint. When you go to hang out in a Discord chat, paint.
I can still in the Discord chat. Just paint while I'm in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, like you have the time. It's we all have that abundance of time. It's just recognizing and having that discipline and that motivation to want to do it. And again, I'm not going to judge you. I don't care if it's just painted or not. Mine will be.
Sure.
And that it isn't about my stuff being better than your stuff. It's about my enjoyment of my hobby.
Sure.
And I want to show off my army. And like, it's all part and parcel. Like, look at all of my Wookiees. They're all painted. There aren't any clones. This is my Wookiee army that I did because I like the Wookiees and Yoda, and I love this. I love that interaction. I I hated painting those photocraft. The devil spawn photocraft, I hate them. But it was so fun to play.
They look really good though.
Again, that's they look okay. In person, I'm still not happy with them. I could go back and
I've
do
seen
more,
them in person.
But I won't.
I think they look great.
Yeah, thank you. But it's that thing of I'm not doing it so my opponent goes, oh, wow, look at that, Kris is such a good painter. I'm not doing it so that I can hold up my painted army over my opponent or over you or show off for listeners. Like, yeah, I post stuff onto Instagram. I've got no followers. None of my stuff's going viral. I'm not getting paid as an influencer. Like, sure. You know what I mean? None of this is for anything other than my own fulfillment and enjoyment of doing it. And yeah, I don't enjoy painting a lot of the time, but I do enjoy finishing a model.
Okay. Interesting.
So, how much are you willing to suffer for that one moment of this model's done?
Interesting.
I think I can end it there, right? Sure. That's a nice closing point to the episode.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
We're this close to greatness on my paints.
No, I feel like we stand here amongst my painting achievements, not yours.
Yeah, that's true. 100%. 100%.
Oh, dear. But yeah, thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. If you watch on YouTube, I say please like, comment, subscribe. Jump on the Discord and show us your painting models. Follow me on Instagram. Give me all those followers so I can leverage my my masterful skills of painting / photoshopping the bases out of my models so that it looks like some sweet bites flying. You know, it'd be all fun. It's all good.
That's good. It was good photography. I like it.